Okay, guys, so we're going to work on revising the narrative. And so you have your blue packet and you have your spiral notebook for today. So what we're going to do is you're in the computer lab and you have some headphones and you are going to start looking at your sentence structure and making sure you have what you have. So just a couple of things. So I have I'm just going to flip you around like this. Let's see if I can do that. I have my narrative up here. And this is the one that's about my brother and I going into the haunted cow barn. And I'm not all the way done, but I have a good start of my narrative. I have about a page and a quarter. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to look at your very first sentence. And remember, according to your scoring guide, so you always want to make sure that whenever your high school teacher gives you directions that you look at them, because it'll be on you to make sure that you do what you need to do. So your first sentence of your narrative has to be an action, a reaction, a flash forward. It could even be a flashback. So my first sentence says, I bet you're all too scared to walk through the old haunted cow barn in Meraki's field. So I'm starting off with a quote, and I'm going to call it an action, like a dare, because that's how this story is starting. So I want you to make sure that yours starts with an action, a reaction. A flashback is fine, or a flash forward. Flash forward is probably, like a flash forward would be great if you were at the end of the story and everything was fine, or you ended up in a little pickle, and then your story is telling how you got into that situation. So this one, I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to use an action, mostly that dare. So what I want you to do is you have your spiral notebook and you have your favorite pencil, and you're going to open up to your next clean page. So we have all of our outsiders notes, and I think there was a day where we wrote on the 25th of October there was a free write. So I want you to go to the next clean page. So clean page here, and at the tip top, I don't like a pen. I want a nice pen. I'll use this one so you guys can see it. I want you to write narrative, sentence, analysis. And then today's date, which is 11/13/19. So mine looks like this. It's going to look backwards to you, but you'll get the idea. So we have the narrative, sentence, analysis. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your narrative. So you have your draft of your narrative in front of you, and then some of you continue to work on the screen. I'm just going to work from the screen. I didn't print mine yet. Okay, so I am going to count how many sentences I have in my narrative at this point. Now keep in mind, I am pretty early in the rising action. I probably have another page to go, but I'm going to get started at least. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So right now I have 28 sentences. So I'll write some more, but I just wanted to get this video going. So I am going to go on my notebook, and in the margin here, I'm just going to number 1 through 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you do it to yours. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and you don't have to skip lines. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay? So I've just numbered to 28 here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to put the first word of each sentence. So my first sentence starts, I bet you're all too scared. So for number 1, I'll just put I. So I'm just going to do it like that. I don't even care because mine's a quote. It doesn't matter. And then my second sentence says, my brother and I looked at each other. So I'm just going to write my. And I'm going to capitalize them because these are all the beginning of sentences. So I'm just going to go through it. So I'm going to go through it. You go through yours right now. And then let's talk about it. Rocky. So I'm just writing down the first word of each sentence. And I'm going to be careful as I do it that I don't skip sentences. And you might see some patterns. I'm seeing a pattern right here. I'm seeing a lot of patterns. So I'm already at number 12. And you can see I have a pattern showing. What's my pattern? Anyone, what's my pattern? So I have a lot of thes. I have a lot of sentences that start with the. And as a reader, reading through it, if you have a lot of thes, it could get boring. So I'm a little bit worried about sentences 6 through 10. So now I have a little list of things that I can work on. I'm going to keep going on, see if I have more patterns. But it sitting. That's. So my second paragraph. So my second paragraph is a little bit better. I don't have very many things repeated. Although I have to tell you, everyone look at my number 21. I'm not a big fan of sentences starting with then. So you can have one in a paragraph. One. I should say one in the whole narrative. But I'll only have one in the paragraph. The other thing you're getting rid of right now, you're just going to delete them. So you cannot have any so's in your story unless you're saying it or somebody is saying it. That's the only way you can have a so in there. So I have a couple more paragraphs. Oh, I think I counted wrong. Yeah. My, he, it, I. Okay, so I actually had 31 things here. So I have it written down. Now I'm going to go back to my paragraph 1. This is the one where I have all these thes. And I'm just going to start looking at it and sounding it out loud. So I want you to really think about this as you read it. So I'm going to read my paragraph 1. I'm going to show you while I read it. Here we go. I'm going to flip it around, but it's going to look weird. Oh well, you'll figure it out. Here we go. It says, it's backwards, yeah. Does anybody know how to change your selfie camera so it reverses the image? Anyway, it says, my brother and I looked at each other, panic marking our foreheads. It was the one thing our parents said we should never do, go into that barn in Mr. Meraki's field. Meraki had farmed asparagus in the field across the street from our house until all of the Japanese Americans were interned at Camp Harmony in Puyallup. Mumbling. Unlike the Koba family, the Meraki family never returned to Moses Lake at the end of World War II. The family farm was overgrown with tumbleweeds and wild grass, but you could rifle around and find some asparagus in a few sweet spots. The cow barn barely counted as a building, old and dilapidated as it was. The old stones used to build the structure were slowly crumbling to dust, and the roof long since rotted away. The windows The windows were broken out by reckless teenagers. Graffiti marked the exterior as a place one should never enter. My brother and I weren't even tempted to enter this creepy old building. So I say the cow barn, the old stones, the windows broken out. So my my real first paragraph, it's very awkward. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've noticed I have a pattern with starting with sentences with the, I'm going to work on it. What I want to fold into there is more of what the barn looked like, because it looked scary. It looked haunted. The paint had broken off. And then I kind of slip in this little bit about the Meraki family, because they were Japanese Americans. And during World War II, if you were Japanese American, you were sent away. And we had in Puyallup, at the Puyallup Fair, the Japanese Americans were stationed there, and then they were sent to maybe California or to Idaho or away, and families were separated as well. And that was the Meraki family. They were sent away, and then they never came back. And I don't know if they never came back means that they were killed, but I think that they just took that situation, and then wherever they were placed, they stayed there. I'm not sure what happened with them, but now I'm very, very curious. And the Koba family, I make a hint of them. They had a neighborhood store. So if you rode your bike about, 8 blocks, there was a store, and they had the best candy. Think of what's it called? On C Street? Higher Grounds. What's it called? You know, that place. It's called, this is going to kill me. Higher Grounds. Yeah, anyway, it was like that kind of a place, but they didn't have coffee, because this is like the 70s. I remember when Bubble Yum came out, and we were like crazy about it. It was 25 cents, and everyone was like, it's too much for gum. Anywho, so I'm going to fold more into my my narrative at this time. So what I want you to do is look at your sentence structure. Look at your verbs. Are you using the same verbs? If you have any so's, get rid of them. And let's start polishing up the sentence structure. Okay, I'll be looking over your shoulder.